Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. If you're new to my channel, my name is Anne, and on my channel I review foreign international content. Today I'm back to review Alchemy of Souls, and today we are reviewing episode 3 and 4. And I have questions between soul and DNA. I don't know about you, but I'm a little confused, and I'm thinking, if the king slept with his mother and used his dad's body, isn't that his dad's DNA, right? Like DNA versus soul. To me, and you guys can tell me, I still believe that's his dad's son, not the king. Now, the souls switched, that's for sure, but the body was his father, right? Do you agree? Do you agree? Let's discuss, because I want to know if you're for DNA or for soul. Hello, good people. Thanks for joining me again. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Anne, and on my channel I review foreign shows. You know what I usually say, right? We travel around the world sitting on our couches. How fun is that? You never know which country we're gonna end up next. Anyway, let's go back to episode 3. So we saw that Jag woke, or Ook, his energy is opened and he's able to now, I guess, practicing or access the spell. And his grandpa, who's really nice, gave him a little extra energy. So, because he said he wanted him to heal faster. I love that grandpa. His grandpa's so nice. But it's interesting that his uncle, I believe he has the best intentions. He wants him to just be a normal person and just, lay low. He wants to open a medicine store and just lay low. Because obviously why he's scared is because if Jag Woke is found out to be the son of the king, it's considered treason. That means people are gonna die. A lot of people are gonna get hurt. And I bet that's the reason why even his dad was like, people can never find out that he is my son. And that's the reason why he cannot have my powers, right? And by the way, I was so offended when his uncle says to him, you are not your dad's son. And then he doesn't tell him who his father was. He proceeds to tell him that his mother had an affair. I was like, oh, that is so mean. We know his mother did not have an affair. As far as his mother was concerned, that was her husband who came into that room. She had no idea that souls had switched. Alchemy of souls were happening. She had no idea that the soul of the king was in her husband's body. As far as she was concerned, she was just sleeping with her husband. So that is not an affair. I was like, did you just say she had an affair? Because an affair is completely different man, and she knows, and the guy you're sleeping with knows. So I was like, wow, what an unfair thing to say, right? I was like, no. And then I also wondered, like, okay, if you're gonna tell him that and break his heart, like, you're not part of our family, that was not your father, your mother had an affair, why don't you just go ahead and tell him the real truth? Or is he worried that once he finds out, his dad was the king, that maybe he's gonna go ask for his, place in the throne? Like, I didn't get why he just told him that and that was it. And then now we've got grandpa put this deal together that he's gonna go fight against the king, and they've disappeared because it's like, look, he is not ready. By the way, who else clapped? I was so happy when obviously now we found out with his powers, it's almost like he was given these powers, but the more he gets hit, the more the power gets hot, like he gets more stronger. So the more the crown prince kept on hitting him, the more stronger he got. And then I was so surprised that he was like, he opened up that sword, and I was like, yay! I was clapping for that section, like, ooh, you got your powers. But clearly it shows that he has a lot of work to do to try and learn how to control this power, because once he was holding that sword, it was like he had no control over this. And I love that the girl put that weight around his arm so that he could have some sort of control. And then you could tell that he really wants to be part of the family. And he's really like, he was like, I did it. That means my uncle is going to have to admit me into our family. He wants so much approval from his uncle. I mean, to him, that's the only dad he ever knew, because his dad, obviously, he never got to know his dad. So he's really yearning for this approval. And when he was like, you mean I finally did what you said and sheathed this sword and it's still not good enough? You can't control. He's like, well, you can't control the sword. It's like, what? I just, it's like, what more does he have to do, right? I was just like, I don't know. The way he's dealing with it, it's comes off a little unfair. I know. And I know his best intentions is obviously to protect Jagwook. The other part that I thought was funny, so when they fight with the king, and clearly he definitely won, and the king is feeling really bad with his ego being bruised, and Mudiok is like offers to drink that dirty water, and they're all like trying. It was the most funniest scene ever. They're all just like, I mean, it was just so funny. I love how she always comes to save the day, and the little comedic pieces they put on there is so much fun. But I want to have this discussion. Since it was his dad's body, that would mean that was the dad's DNA, right? I know the soul of the king was in the body, but that was his father's DNA. So to me, I believe that is still his son. And I believe that's why he's able to still have the powers. They say he's learning very quickly, just like his dad did. He was able to walk and talk very quickly, meaning he always had the powers, meaning he was always his father's son and not the king. As far as I'm concerned, the king was just crazy. And by the way, even the grandpa said that switching of the soul really shouldn't have happened. He actually called it sorcery, right? So to me, tell me down below, do you believe he's the king's son or his dad's son? I'm going with DNA. Forget about the soul. I mean, he took over his body, but that was his body, right? Am I crazy? Let me know what you think. But I loved episode 3 and 4. I'm really enjoying this. I love the storytelling and the comedy. I love the chemistry between these two, Jagwook and Mudiok. And then your soul, you can tell he appreciates Mudiok. And it was funny that she was like, yeah, I like you. I love you. So he knows that she likes him. On the other hand, the way he was like, how come every single time you put him in trouble, but you always help him for the better? And she was like, yep, that's what I do. So it'll be interesting to see now that they've run away. I'm looking forward to him being really trained and really getting good in his powers and then coming back. Oh, and by the way, who is the guy who's dressed up like Jesus with the big hat and the dog? Clearly, he's able to identify souls, because we saw in upcoming preview that he's able to tell that Mudiok soul is from somebody else, right? That's Nansuk's soul that is in Mudiok's body. So it'd be interesting to see is he a good guy or a bad guy? I'm thinking he's a good guy, right? Maybe he's gonna be the one that's gonna help Jagwook and Mudiok at the end of it all. But I'll be interesting to see how they're going to resolve this. Was it the king's son because of the soul, or was he his dad's son because of DNA? Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think so far. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a fantastic series. I feel like all the actors are doing a fantastic job. I love period pieces just because, you know, when they're dressed up in their traditional Korean outfits, and then the shots and the location is so beautiful. I love it all. Let me know what you think. Obviously, join me next week when we review episode 5 and 6. And as usual, give me a like if you like my video, subscribe. It does help to support my channel. And I'll see you next week. Deuces.